Hello everyone, we are Helena and Jonas from Norwegian Travel Couple. After spending an entire summer exploring Switzerland, we were completely blown away by the landscapes, the views, and all the dreamy places this country has to offer. From fairy tale villages and turquoise lakes to dramatic mountain peaks. So, we decided to create a top 15 list of must-see places in Switzerland. Let's start this video off with Stoos Ridge. Stoos Ridge is probably our favorite hike of all the hikes we did in Switzerland. In this 4.5 kilometer long hike, you get the most picturesque green mountain landscape surrounded by turquoise lakes and cows roaming peacefully. I don't think we have ever seen landscape this lush and dreamy. We would set the level of this hike as moderate difficulty with just a few narrow, scary parts. And if you're lucky, you'll even see the alpacas roaming peacefully while driving down the mountain. Staubifall. This fairytale village requires the easiest hike and is free to visit. Once you reach the village, you'll usually see the many cows and goats relaxing in the beautiful fields in front of the spectacular waterfall. There's even a cafe on the top where you can buy something to eat or drink. Just remember to bring cash here as the restaurant don't take card. Wasserfall-Arena Batöni. This is also one of our favorite hikes in Switzerland due to the beauty of the 5 waterfalls on top. You find free parking spots in the closest village called Weistonnen, and the hike itself is an easy to moderate 2-hour hike up to the viewpoint. As you reach the suspension bridge by the waterfall, you have endless of beautiful trails to choose from. If you want the views in this clip, walk a few extra minutes up to your left when reaching the bottom of the waterfalls. Saxer Lücke. Saxer Lücke is located about 1 hour and 15 minutes from Zurich. You can either take the cable car from Frumsen to Bern and start a hike there, or take the cable car from Brullisau to Hoher. The fastest route to the famous viewpoint starts from Bern and takes around 1 hour on an easy trail. If you start from Hoher, the hike takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. The hike itself is fairly easy and offers breathtaking views almost the entire way. Once you reach the spectacular viewpoint overlooking Saxer Lücke, you have a few options. 1. Go back the way you came. 2. Continue to the opposite cable car station. Or 3. Hike down to Lake Valenze. There's an idyllic restaurant down by Lake Valenze, and you also find cafes at both cable car stations. Foroglio. This is the most enchanting village we've ever visited. With its old stone houses, narrow pathways, climbing plants cascading down the walls, and the spectacular waterfall in the background, this village looks like something straight out of a storybook. Foroglio is free to visit, although you'll need to pay a small parking fee. However, getting to this fairytale village is a bit of a journey, with around 3.5 hour drive no matter where you're coming from. Because of that, you should expect roughly 6 hours of driving in total for a round trip, depending on your starting point. But in our opinion, the village is so unique it's worth the long drive. We also highly recommend having lunch at the cozy cafe called La Froda, which has an outdoor terrace with a beautiful view directly facing the waterfall. Brienz is a super charming village located along the turquoise waters of Lake Brienz. It's also home to what has been called the most beautiful street in the world, Brunngasse, and for a good reason. Brunngasse is a street you simply have to see. With its old wooden houses decorated with beautiful flowers and greenery, set against a backdrop of dramatic mountain peaks, it almost feels unreal. We also recommend taking a stroll along the Brienz cozy harbor and stopping by one of the many lovely restaurants by the waterfront. But what made this place especially unique for us leads us to our next stop. Brienz Rothorn train ride. This was, without a doubt, the most incredible experience we had in all of Switzerland. A small red train takes you from Brienz and slowly climbs through some of the beautiful and colorful landscapes imaginable. You can hear the gentle chugging of the trains as you look out over the turquoise lakes and the lush, dramatic mountain scenery surrounding you. At the summit, you'll find several restaurants with breathtaking views. We had lunch at Berghaus Rothorn and we highly recommend it. The food was amazing, the staff were incredibly welcoming, and the views were simply unforgettable. You should also take some time to explore a few of the hiking trails before taking the train back down. There are plenty of trails starting from the summit, all offering incredible panoramic views in every direction. Lauterbrunnen. This village is probably the most idyllic village in all of Europe, located just 2 hours from Zurich and only 15 minutes from Interlaken. Lauterbrunnen is a valley home to more than 72 waterfalls, surrounded by towering cliffs and breathtaking scenery. We highly recommend spending a few hours either walking or biking through the valley. There are beautiful trails running alongside the river as it winds its way down through the landscape. In addition to the incredible nature, Lauterbrunnen is also a great place for activities such as paragliding and cliff walks. Wengen. From Lauterbrunnen you can take the train further up the mountains to a small alpine village called Wengen. The area offers plenty of beautiful hiking trails, including routes leading toward the famous Jungfraujoch viewpoint. If hiking isn't your thing, there are also charming mini-golf courses where you can relax and enjoy the scenery, or you can spend a peaceful day at one of the many spa hotels in the area. Grindelwald. Overall, we didn't like Grindelwald so much because of the crowds. But we still wanted to recommend it because Grindelwald is the best place to visit if you want to do activities. They have everything from bike rental, mountain coaster, cliff walk, zipline, paragliding and much more. Bern was honestly one of the towns that surprised us the most. It's filled with history, and with Swiss flags decorating every street, it felt like stepping into a postcard from another era. We highly recommend finding a cozy cafe or restaurant where you can sit back and enjoy the beautiful views overlooking the river. Rosenlaui. This village offers a combination of dreamy Swiss scenery, flowing rivers, and cows wandering peacefully through the landscape, the perfect setting for a picnic. After enjoying a relaxing lunch surrounded by nature, we recommend stopping by Rosenlaui Café or exploring the Gletscherschlucht, a 1-kilometer trail that takes you through the impressive Rosenlaui Glacier Gorge. Oeschinensee. Oeschinensee is maybe the most well-known hike in Switzerland, and for a good reason. Located only 40 minutes from Interlaken and 2 hours from Zurich, you can take the cable car from Kandersteg to Oeschinensee. At the top, you can either choose to go down to the lake, which is a great option for families with kids. Here you can bath in the lake or rent a rowboat. There's also a restaurant down by the water. But if you're looking for spectacular views, you can choose to head up into the mountain cliffs instead of going down to the lake, and that's where you'll find this scenic spot. The hike from the cable car to this spot is approximately 1.5 hours. However, we do not recommend taking kids on this trail, as big parts of the trail is extremely narrow and steep. Kandersteg. When exploring Oeschinensee, we highly recommend you to visit the local village called Kandersteg. This is basically where you're ending the Oeschinensee hike. Kandersteg is a very small village, but so picturesque and cute. A great advice would be to have dinner at one of the restaurants with outdoor terrace facing the beautiful mountains. Perfect to reload after a nice hike. Zermatt. This is definitely a place where you should spend a few days exploring, especially because of the endless scenic train rides and hiking trails to choose from. However, it's important to know that Zermatt is completely car-free. This means you'll need to park in the nearby village of Tosh. From there you can take the train directly into Zermatt. One hike we truly recommend while visiting this area is Rifelse Lake, which offers some of the most stunning views of the Matterhorn. To get there, you'll need to take the Kornergrat railway to the stop called Rotenboden. From there is only a few minutes walk down to the lake. You can also continue one stop further if you hope to spot the famous black-faced sheep that roam the mountainsides. Hope this video was helpful, guys. If you want more info and useful tips for the most incredible trip to Switzerland, please feel free to check out our Switzerland travel guide ebook that we have linked in the description below.